Hi everyone, I'm Casey Williams. The first generation ChevyVolt was a monumental undertaking for General Motors. It was incredibly high tech. It was an extended range electric car that could go 40 miles about on electricity and then go hundreds of miles on gasoline if the gas engine started up. Wonderful car. But it really looked like a green car too. It had a very distinct look that appealed to people who like green cars, but maybe not people who want something a little bit sportier and a little bit edgier. So the second generation Volt is back. Has increased performance, and I think you'll find that it has styling that more people will like. Well, the challenge with an electric car is it has to be very aerodynamic. It's even more important than it is on a gasoline-powered car, because that aerodynamics really helps your all-electric range. Well, the first generation car was very efficient, but it wasn't particularly exciting. The second generation, I think, looks a lot more dynamic and a lot more athletic. But you still know it's a Volt. You start with the grille inserts, the silver, and it's got a very Chevrolet face to it. Connects it to the Cruze and the Camaro, even the Corvette a little bit. LED driving lamps down below, quad lamps here. And the hood sculpting, a little hard to see it in the black paint, but it really does resemble the Camaro the way it's sculpted and put together. I think it looks very nice. You come around to the side, 17-inch alloy wheels, very sporty with low rolling resistance tires, again to help fuel economy and your electric range. This is where you plug in. And also some of the body details are very nice. This connects it to the previous generation Volt and to the Volt concept before that. And if you look really close, you can see some more lines here in the body, deep sculpting down below the lower body moldings. Again, just to give it a more athletic, a little more dynamic look. But when you step back and really look at the car, you still see that it's a Volt. Still kind of got the really wedgy front end of it. Roof comes up, really high deck lid back here. I like the way the tail lamps are kind of sculpted in. Again, very nice. But when you start really looking at some of the details too, here's some more things that really help the aerodynamics. You've got a hard edge here, really clean brake with the air, just like previous generations, but it's very nicely integrated, very thoughtfully done. Built-in spoiler, again, to help the air come off very cleanly. I like the tail lamp design with the chrome look inside and the two-tone. Very nice. And again, when you look at it from the back, it just looks more exotic, just looks a little bit wider, a little more hunkered down over the wheels. Dimensionally, the car is very close to the previous generation, but it does just look sleeker, looks a little bit smaller because of the styling. It's a hatchback. Plenty of space inside for luggage. And then both seats also fold down, so you get bicycles and gears in. So a very aerodynamic car, a very efficient car, but also a very useful car. Well, we won't stay in the back seat very long, but I did want to show you a couple of things back here. When I told you that part of the powertrain was deep into the body of the car, that's really true. You'll notice there's a really high console here. In fact, this is actually a seat. But underneath here is where the batteries are. You've got them running this way, and you've got them running underneath as well. So you got a lot of weight in the batteries, low down in the chassis, and it's actually a very good arrangement. But you have to make some compromises on the interior. One is, last generation car, you had a 4-seat interior, basically had a console running through. Now there's actually a seat here and a seat belt, but you can see that it's going to take a very small child that's actually going to fit here. So technically it's a 5-seater, but really it's practically a 4-seater. But because you got the high console, you got cup holders, you've got heated leather seats in the back, pretty nice armrest, and it's fairly comfortable back here. So you could get 4 people in here pretty comfortably and go on a trip. Well, the exterior definitely looks more exciting, but the biggest changes to the car really happened inside. The previous generation Volt had this touchpad all right here. Some people liked it, the techies really liked it, but a lot of people who were just looking for an efficient car really didn't. So now the console looks a lot more like the Chevy Malibu, looks a lot more like the new Chevy Cruze, and it works pretty well. Giant touchscreen here. This one has Bluetooth, has Wi-Fi in the car, got satellite radio, got USB ports down below, an auxiliary jack as well, power port. So you've got the entertainment taken care of. This one has a Bose audio system in it. Dual zone, that's not dual zone, it's single zone automatic climate control. One complaint I have about this is you have to keep it on max mode all the time to really get cold air coming out of it. Because it's an electric car, it's always trying to maximize efficiency and really try to reduce power usage in the vehicle. Put it in an eco mode, again, it's not nearly as cold, but it'll keep you just barely cold enough. So for me, I like it in the max mode. But it's a lot more functional here. You've got space down here to store things, big deep console. There's also a wireless phone charger inside the console. You just lay the phone inside of it and it charges it. I think that's very nice. So some of the other things in the car, you've got heated leather seats in the front. Told you you've got heated seats in the back. Nice thick leather wrapped steering wheel. And some of the safety gear on the car, you've got adaptive cruise control, It's got the forward collision warning system with auto brake. It's got the blind zone warning systems, rear cross path detection, lane keep assist. It's got a semi-automatic parallel parking system. You have to kind of help power it in, but it'll steer itself into a parallel parking spot. So a lot of really nice stuff on the car. It's very luxuriously equipped. But the thing I think you're really going to notice is the instrument cluster when you get inside. On the left side of it is the battery and electrical performance. On the right side of it is the gasoline engine. So you've got battery charge here, and you've got the functionality on the left, whether it's recharging the battery, and that happens from the gas engine, or it can happen through your regenerative braking system. When you put the brakes on, it recharges the battery. So it tells you if you're using battery power or if you're replenishing the battery on the left side. And then on the right side of it, you've got the fuel, just regular fuel gauge there, and it also tells you if the engine's on and what it's doing. And then there's one more mode that's really kind of cool. So it's got a mode select. I've got it in normal right now, which means it's using battery power. Sport mode, it'll use battery power a little bit faster, but gives you a little more performance. Okay. And then the last one is a hold feature. And what that does is it will preserve the battery charging that you currently have. So it automatically goes into gasoline mode. It behaves more like a normal hybrid. It will use some battery, but it's also replenishing the battery at the same time. And the reason you'd want to do that is when you're on the interstate and you're running 70 miles per hour plus, you'd really toast a battery in a really quick hurry at that speed. So it allows you to run just the gasoline engine on the highway and preserve that battery pack for when you're in the town. It makes the most sense to use battery power. But overall, again, a very sophisticated car, very luxuriously equipped, lots of safety gear on it. And for as complex as the car is, the instrument cluster is actually very nicely laid out, very well done, color coded, and you can really tell what's going on with the car and how to use it best. Well, I'll show you under the hood, but this is really just a small part of the powertrain equation for this car. So let's start with the gasoline part of it. It's a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. But the part that you can't see is a lithium-ion battery pack that's hidden deep within inside the car. So let's talk about how the system works. Well, if you think about a continuum from something like a Tesla all-electric car or Nissan Leaf all the way to a Hemi-powered Dodge Hellcat, completely gas-burning cars, and maybe a Toyota Prius in the middle. This falls somewhere between a Prius and a Tesla. So let's say you get up in the morning, you've charged the car overnight, and to charge the car, it's going to take you about 13 hours on household current, or you can do about 4.5 hours on a 240-volt charger. You get a custom charger for home as well. So you get in the car. Well, the first 53 miles you're going to drive is going to be on electricity. Drives just like an electric car. And that's actually up about 33% from the previous generation Volt. Nice improvement. But after that 53 miles, and in your daily commute, you may not drive 53 miles. It means you'll come home, plug it in, still an electric car. In fact, Chevrolet believes that the average owner will drive about 1,000 miles between gasoline fill-ups. So anyway, you get on the road, you drive 53 miles. But let's say it's a nice, beautiful day and you want to drive 200 miles from here and go have lunch and go shopping or see a play. After 53 miles, you're driving along, the gasoline engine fires up, and you keep on going. In fact, stopping for fill-ups, you can drive this car all the way to California. Range of electric plus gasoline, about 420 miles. So 420 miles minus 53, and that's what you should expect between fill-ups on a long drive. So a very useful, practical car. Now, fuel economy. They claim, on the electricity side of it, 106 miles per gallon equivalent. That's about what you expect to pay for the car. Gasoline on the highway, about 42 miles per gallon. So again, a very efficient, compact car, even in gasoline mode. Now you might think, well, electric cars are probably pretty slow, right? Wrong. This one does 0 to 60 in about 8.5 seconds. Top speed's just under 100 miles per hour. But what's more important about an electric car is they're very, very smooth. Electric motors produce all their power, all their torque, almost instantaneously. You step on the throttle, it sets you in the seat, it's almost dead quiet, and just accelerates away. Think about a very high-powered golf cart, and that's the experience you have with the car. So again, very nice driving experience. And better than that, some of the hybrids, they're gas-powered and electric-powered, and it kind of goes back and forth between the two. But this one is almost always electrically driven. So even when the gas engine comes on, it's just extending the range, it's just generating electricity for the powertrain. So even with the gas engine on, you still get that smooth acceleration, that smooth feel that you expect in an electric car. So it's a fairly complicated car, but from behind the wheel, it actually works very smoothly, it's very seamlessly, and you hardly notice these things are going on. Again, you get in the car, you can drive it 420 miles, and don't even worry about whether it's electricity or gas, or you can plug it in all the time and expect about 53 miles round trip. Well, my experience with electric cars began with the GM EV1 back in the late 1990s. Love that car. You step on the throttle, it'd set you back in the seat. It was as fast from 0 to 60 as a Camaro Z28 at the time, and just dead silence as it does it, and really got hooked on electric cars then. So when General Motors came out with the first generation Volt, they talked about a car that really had the benefits of electric car, but the ability to drive cross country, something the GM EV1 definitely could not do. In fact, something a Tesla could not do. It was really appealing. Well, this last generation that we have right here today, I think it looks so much better. It's a design that a lot more people will really like. 33% more range, so it's a lot more usable as an electric car. And you still get a lot of efficiency if you want to drive the car long distance. Luxuriously equipped, a very safe car, and I just really thoroughly enjoy driving it. So next week, we're going to have another fun car, and until then, storm forward.